Alrighty then, everybody. We got ourselves another massive preliminary tournament race. And I know what you're thinking. Massive? I only see 5 screens. What's going on? Oh, this is just the first set of streams. We have another set of 5 on the other setup over here. So we have 10 total racers that are streaming. One who is not streaming, which is Jupiter Climb. So we have a lot of perspectives to go through. We are likely going to miss a lot of stuff. I will do my best to break down the general idea of what's going on and try and keep track of racers. But this is insane. This is literally insane. This is the largest. This might be the largest tournament race we might have ever had. 11 total racers. This is close to it. If this isn't the largest we've ever done, this is close to it. Is Dragon Blitz Daily running? Oh, that guy's late. He was supposed to show up earlier, but I knew he wouldn't show, though. He's such a baby. That Dragon Blitz Daily guy sure is. Speaking of, if you're watching this on Dragon Blitz Daily, turns out it was me the whole time. It's me. I'm Dragon Blitz Daily, only for this joke to make sense. But you should subscribe. And also really important to note about this tournament, if you want to support specifically this tournament, the prize pool for this tournament, and just in general myself and like the stuff that I'm doing, the entirety of my Patreon earnings for the month of August are going towards the prize pool of the tournament, which is currently sitting at 91 patrons and $538. So that entire amount is the prize pool for the tournament currently. But if you watching at home join the Patreon, that means more money to the people who are racing and make it farther in the tournament. And in general, you get access to bonus streams, bonus videos, all of my uploads without ads on my main channel, stuff like that. So there is a little bit of extra incentive for you to do it if you would like, but it's up to you. Thank you, Barkeep, for the $20. Oh, look at this new feature. If you get the full 20 from this, can you add it to the prize pool? I cannot. The only way I'm doing so, one, I don't think that's exactly how that works. I think I lose money on the hype chats because Twitch is weird. I think I get only 70% of hype chats. And 2, I'm only doing it through Patreon because it is the only way for it to make sense for tax purposes. The tournament last year was a pain in the ass to figure out how the taxes were supposed to work because I was getting money and then giving the money away and then getting more money and then giving that money away because it was all coming from different revenue streams. It was whew. By the way, what are our starting items? Monster Vial, Stariolite, no starting relic. Very interesting. Is there anybody who is massively ahead so far? No, not really. Everybody's pretty much aligned. Doesn't seem like anybody has had anything too troublesome. We have Fire, who is likely one of the most well-practiced and high-skilled players that we're going to see in this race. In fact, I'm going to make sure that Fire ends up here. So when we're on this screen, this racer right here is Fire 1520, one of the better racers in general, one of the high-skilled randomizer players that we didn't get to see last race. So it'll be interesting to see how Fire plays this. Ooh, taking a big fall, though. But for right now, it's mostly just about the general idea. Everybody generally seems to be moving in the same direction. However, Godchild has some sort of sword. Is Godchild the only one using this sword? It looks like Alucard's sword. But it doesn't one-shot the Axonites, so it might not actually be Alucard's sword. Let me put him in the top left. Top left, we have Godchild with what seems to be Alucard's sword. I don't see... Is anybody else using a sword? It might have been a random drop from like a skeleton or something. Very interesting. Is able to kill pretty quickly. Wasn't necessarily a double kill, but a very quick kill for Godchild. So that sword seems pretty decent. That could be a big random factor. This is the randomizer after all. Item drops are randomized. Everybody is playing on the same seed, so everybody has the potential to find the same random drops. But if Godchild is the one that's lucky enough to actually get it, then, you know, it is what it is. This is another Safe Logic speedrun. So if you guys missed out on the other Safe Logic run that we did earlier, it was rough. It was rough. It was painful. I think the quickest completion was over an hour, and the longest completion for that race was like about 100 minutes, an hour 40. A couple people had to DQ. They just quit because they couldn't freaking take it anymore. And I don't blame him. That was a rough seed. So we're hoping to see something better this time around. Hoping to see something better this time around. Ooh, Leapstone at the start. Refined Hornet seems to be the first one grabbing it. We got ourselves the Leapstone as the first progression relic. Looks familiar. Fire also grabbing the Leapstone. So as of right now, if things are mostly caught up, it seems like Fire on this screen and Hornet on this screen seem to be pretty much in the lead. Follows slightly behind by Dinner Dog as well. Looks like this screen has the higher density of players with Leapstone, so we'll stay on this screen for a little while. Yeah, it's just my normal Patreon by typing !Patreon in my live stream chat, or by going to the description of any of my videos, whether it's on Dragon Blitz or Dragon Blitz Daily. It all is the same link, patreon.com/DragonBlitz. And you can join the Patreon at whatever tier you want. Like, the money goes pretty much to me regardless. Damascus Sword? Wait. Swarm gets a random drop, and it ends up being a Chrysogrim. I didn't see the stats on it, but it's literally a Chrysogrim. It could have dog shit stats, so maybe it's not that important. But just the utility of a weapon that swings really fast, even if it's not that great damage-wise, is still insane. It's still a Chrysogrim. It's still broken as hell. That is a skill issue for everyone else, I guess. So Hornet opts to immediately check the relic and then leave, which is fair. I'm curious to see if anybody is going to go through and get the warp first and then check the relic and then go to Castle Keep. That's the route that I personally would take here. And it looks like Dinner Dog is taking that route too. The route that Dinner Dog is taking is one that I personally would also try and take. And meanwhile, Fire, I don't think had enough time to get the warp. So my guess is Fire didn't get the warp, but is instead going to Castle Keep anyways. This is very, very risky because if the next progression... But it's a duplicator! Not everyone's going to find that duplicator. Most people are not going to go through the Colosseum and find that. Fire's going to find it, and I'm pretty sure Dinner Dog's going to find it. Oh, and so is Swarm! So the people who are opting to go through Colosseum to get to Castle Keep are going to find this duplicator. Oh, Hornet, on the other hand, is struggling, though, to get past these two bumbless, dingus, stupid thing one, thing two, the bros. We're 7 minutes in, and this is already one of the most insane starts to a race that I could have imagined. Fucking Swarm's out here with a duplicator and a Chrysogrim at the start of the race. Dinner Dog is also going to find that. Eldritch is opening the warp. A lot of people are opening the warp. Meanwhile, I think Godchild in the bottom left is the only one that's opting to go early. Oh, Hornet's not going that way either. So Hornet's missing out on the duplicator. Godchild's missing out on the duplicator. Eldritch is possibly also missing out on the duplicator. It doesn't look like Eldritch is going that way through Colosseum. Maybe they find it on the way out. Monster Vials seems to be the weapon of choice for Fire. Very interesting. Fire seems to be the one that's in the lead the most. Ooh, MT also going to be finding that duplicator and going on this route. A lot of people doing the Colosseum route, actually. A lot of people are doing the Colosseum route, so a lot of people are going to find this duplicator. Wow. So this is all going to depend on what is found at Castle Keep, and the person who is closest to Castle Keep right now is Fire in the top left. Depending on what Fire finds, very funny using the Monster Vials as the means of backdash canceling. Monster Vial dashing, very funny. Monster Vials do a lot of damage, so it's Soul of Wolf. That's not enough as actual progression. That's actually a problem for Fire, because Fire doesn't have a warp. Fire has 0 warps, and that Soul of Wolf isn't going to unlock anything. So Fire's best bet, well, first of all, Fire should be getting the warp. Not getting the warp, okay. Instead, maybe banking on a Flea Rider dive kick string. Very interesting. Uh-oh. Taking a lot of damage because of the duplicator. Has to be careful. Could, yeah, cut your losses at that point. Yeah, Soul of Wolf and Leapstone is not enough to progress anywhere. So Fire is kind of stuck and is going to have to warp back to Castle Entrance, which is a huge backtrack. huge amount of backtracking for Fire here because of not having the warp to Alrox's quarters. That's one of the reasons why you get the Alrox quarters warp first. And the people who got the Alrox warp first are going to be in a much better position, which I believe is Dinner Dog. And maybe some of the people on the bottom of the screen here, MT, maybe Matthias. These are possibilities. But yeah, Fire is going to have to go all the way from entrance back to outer wall, which is like the biggest backtrack possible. It's the main reason why I opt to get that warp. So, yeah. Swarm as well, also warping all the way back to entrance. A lot of backtracking. I think Dinner Dog is in the best position here now. Ooh, meanwhile, Jewel of Open is found. Jewel of Open is found in the library. Very interesting. Flea ladder refers to dive kicking off of the flea riders such that you step on their heads over and over again to make it up to a large, a high up place. You can do that for a relic check, and you could also do it to get up and over to the other side of where the other entrance to Castle Keep. That is a possibility. Oh, see, Dinner Dog's going for the flea ladder right now. Takes some damage, though. Isn't able to complete the flea ladder. Sunglasses are holy glasses? Not necessarily. Holy glasses can be any head item. It will show up on their tracker, though, if they have the holy glasses item. It is automatic. They are? Did somebody grab them? Oh, Hornet just grabbed them. Gotcha. Okay, I see what you're saying now. Yeah, Hornet just got the holy glasses. Those were flight locked, and flight right now is not necessarily in logic. Yeah, they don't have any means of flight right now. That was an out of logic check, so. It seems like Jewel of Open is going to lead to Gravity Boots, if I had to guess. Library cards for cheap. $200 for a library card. That's actually really big for everybody who has the duplicator. And even people without the duplicator, like Hornet, still have an opportunity to get multiple library cards because they are so cheap. Interestingly enough, Dinner Dog and Swarm are about to high five, actually. Swarm is, even though Swarm didn't get the warp, Swarm is going to be still slightly ahead of Dinner Dog. That's very interesting. I wonder if getting the warp is overrated. Either Dinner Dog's movement wasn't as clean, or maybe the time it takes to grab that warp isn't worth it. Very interesting. That's one of those few things that you would assume would be faster, but maybe it's not actually faster. Both Malbong and Alucard Shield are in the shop. Wow. I mean, they have a lot of these players have duplicator, so Shaman Shield looks like the Alucard Shield, resembles Family Shield. Okay, so that's not actually the Alucard Shield. Got it. Swarm continuing to get insane lucky drops. Ooh, and Ring of Vlad on Outer Wall. That's going to be the first Vlad relic for a lot of these players. Hornet opting not to get the relic right away. Has to open the switch. Fails to do so by accidentally doing Hellfire. Now, who's going to be first into the caverns? Because that seems to be where the next relic is, and it looks like God's Child might be first. Let's check in on our second string of players over on screen number 2. Yeah, it looks like various numbers of people have the duplicator. Somebody else with the Christogrim as well. Fire also got that rare Christogrim drop, it seems. We have crazy 4-blades inside the shop right now, trying to figure out what to get. But yeah, it looks like the first person to enter the caverns, which will be the next potential progression relic, is actually going to be God's Child, funny enough. God's Child took a very different route early on, opted not to go through caverns, or sorry, not to go through the Colosseum, and instead took a early route to Outer Wall. Yeah, accidental Hellfire, it does happen. It does happen. Yeah, Godchild will still have to check keep, of course, but this is the first or the farthest person as far as the complexity chain goes, right? The game expects you to use the Jewel of Open to grab whatever's in here. Oh, but the double jump reset might actually come into play for everybody who's picked up the Leapstone and the Wolf. They'll have access to if they can do the double jump resets, they can check Succubus first. However, it is just very likely that they just find flight here in the caverns, so it's probably fine. Probably won't end up mattering. Looks like Hornet is also now entering the caverns. And it looks like Dinner Dog and Swarm are pretty much tied, interestingly enough. The only difference is Dinner Dog has access to the Aurochs Warp and Swarm does not. Eldritch is also on his way to open up the caverns. Nothing of interest found for Godchild at Scylla. A lot of various routes happening here. Most everybody in the outer wall. So most everybody seems to be taking, outside of the very beginning divergence, most people seem to be taking similar routes. Interesting that Crazy opts to go through Chapel with Jewel of Open and Leapstone. We'll see how it pays off. I mean, they will be getting access to the warp, so that's interesting. So it's going to come down to what is the progression item in the caverns and who's going to find it first. Could it be Mist? Could it be Merman that leads to another relic? It could be Gravity Boots. Could be Bat, which would be crazy. Yeah, the Aurochs Warp isn't like the most important thing right now, Scrimps. You are correct, because they're likely going to have to go through Alchemy Lab again once they have flight. So it's not like a huge advantage, but it could come up. Like if your flight is intended to be like both rings, for example, like gold ring, silver ring, are both in the caverns and that unlocks your flight, then having access to that warp is kind of an advantage, but it's a pretty rare or unlikely thing in general. It likely won't end up mattering, but it can. It's possible. Lots of people in the caverns. So far, nothing too crazy found. Did Dinner Dog miss the Mana Prism? I didn't check. It's possible. As of right now, Mana Prism's not that huge. Like, it kind of doesn't even matter. As long as he has a library card, he's fine. Because it's not like they're using mana to move around anyways. So... like, Duplicator Mana Prism combo kind of only matters if you're using your mana, so. Ooh. Godchild's going to have to be careful. 48 HP total. And no Snorkel. So, yeah, using the the Dark Metamorphosis to heal off of the blood from the bats. Hopefully having enough HP to get ahead of the Ferryman. Because riding that boat is so slow. And what is it? It's... save split, though. Very smart from Godchild to save split this. Nothing on the other end of the waterfall, which means the progression relic is all the way in the mines, potentially the catacombs at Granfalloon. This is a lot of just backdashing around. Yes, the mines are Leapstone locked, so Leapstone leading into the mines is in logic. So, it's not the, it could be worse. They'll surely find progression. Worst case scenario is gold ring at the devil card and then silver ring at Granfalloon. That is worst case scenario. Like, by far. But they have library cards if they went to the library, so, I'm pretty sure everybody had enough money for a library card. Probably. Granfalloon Mist is worse. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe not. I feel like Mist is more useful than just 2 rings into flight, but maybe I'm wrong. Let's just say everything's fine. Dinner Dog, however, going for the double jump reset. Hold up. This could be huge. Let's see it. Does Dinner Dog got that dog in him? Okay. Dude, he's so good. He's so good. He's so good at the game. By bonking your head against the ceiling whilst untransforming, it gives you access to another double jump, and you can reset that over and over again just by transforming at the right spot. So Dinner Dog grabs a Garnet as well. Could be another sellable. And Dinner Dog looks to be the first to check Succubus, potentially. I don't think anybody here has checked Succubus. Meanwhile, Fire finding Mist in the mines. I would definitely grab the Warp and then warp back to Library as soon as possible. Wolf and Mist together is like a really janky form of flight if you want to wolf rise everywhere. So seems like Fire is slightly in the lead then by being the first to grab Mist. That's a ring though. Dinner Dog did just get Gold Ring, which is vanilla. Streamer, is this even randomized? Godchild also finding Mist, also warping. Very interesting. Gold Ring at Succubus. So that's actually a huge advantage for Dinner Dog, because Dinner Dog doesn't have to backtrack through the caverns to find the rando ring, presumably. Presuming that's the rando ring, but... More library cards purchased from Godchild. Godchild's no duplicator is honestly pretty tough. What is... Oh, okay, gotcha. So yeah, Dinner Dog is definitely a little bit behind, but has the most solid, I would say, foundation for a good race. He doesn't have to worry about too much going awry. Oh, interesting. Swarm skipped the Merman check initially and is now going to do Merman after the fact. No, he's not. Just kidding. I think he save split for this or something. I thought he had Mist as well. I lied. Hornet opting to check Granfaloon as well after grabbing Mist? Really? That's crazy to me. Hornet checking Granfaloon right now with just Mist and Leapstone is kind of crazy. Is Eldritch doing that too? Wow, Eldritch too. Let's see where Fire's at. Fire grabbed Spike Breaker. Fire has already done the library check and found Spike Breaker, which means Silver Ring is next in the chain. Does Silver Ring have the next step in complexity? Does it have flight? Silver Ring is in logic, and I think Fire went to Castle Keep, so Fire should have the Keep Warp. Right now, I think Fire's in the lead. Dude, if it's vanilla Silver Ring, no, it can't be because they need flight. They don't have flight yet. It can't be. It can't be. Because Gold Ring was out of logic flight, so they still need some form of flight. So that's why my guess is that it's flight at... No, it has to be flight at Silver Ring. There's nothing else it could be. There's nothing else it could be. Welcome, everybody. Welcome in. Everybody who is just now joining us. This is quite possibly one of the largest races in the history of Symphony of the Night randomizer tournaments. We have 11 people racing. We have 10 streams that we can choose to look through. A lot of people doing a lot of different routes. To catch everybody up, Dinner Dog is behind on number of checks, but has the Gold Ring, is the only competitor to find the Gold Ring. This was at Succubus. Dinner Dog was able to grab this using an out-of-logic check, using a really clutch double jump reset strat, which is huge. But as far as who has the farthest progression total, I believe it's probably Fire. Fire has the Spike Breaker, the Mist, the Jewel of Open. All three of those relics combined allow for a player to check the Silver Ring location. So the Silver Ring location is likely going to be the next progression item. My guess is probably Gravity Boots. And then from there, they're going to have flight and then be able to do a lot of backtracking. That's my guess. This is not enough screens. We could have added Subway Surfers. Maybe next time we'll have a Subway Surfers dedicated stream as well to add. Is there a Twitch stream that's just 24 hours Subway Surfers? Because I could just add that to the multi-stream. This is a tournament race. It's part of the preliminary races, and it's Soul of Bat. Soul of Bat is their form of flight. Wow. I guess that makes sense because they already have a transformation. So Gravity Boots doesn't have to be their form of flight. So Bat is available. This opens up a lot for for Fire. Fire's the first to find Bat. Does he have a Mana Prism? Do we know? Oh, and Fire has the shortcut to get back to Coliseum. So Fire has access to a lot of options here. He could choose to do Alrox's Quarters right now. He could choose to do Alchemy Lab from here. He could choose to do Gravity Boots. He could go to the warp back to to Castle Keep and do the flight checks. Like, everything is available for Fire. Fire can go basically anywhere he wants to. He could also just go to the second castle. Actually, yeah. That's another option. He has the glasses. He could just go to the second castle. That would be crazy if that was the play. It might be. It's probably the next progression location. Or I guess it's the next progression location because Glasses was flight locked. Glasses was flight locked. So the next progression location is second castle. However, it's always in your best interest if you can do Spike Breaker out of logic, you should. So I think Spike Breaker is priority number 1 and then second castle. That's how I would be playing this. Has anybody else found Bat yet? No. But a lot of people will be making their way towards Bat. That is for sure. So Refined Hornet should be going to Bat next, to Silver Ring, which has Bat. Eldritch should also be going that direction. Eldritch should be going in that direction. Swarm should be going in that direction. Godchild is on his way. But meanwhile, Fire just is going to be able to just fucking fly, man. Fire just is poised to make a massive lead here. Just take a massive lead. Take a massive dump on the competition. Wait, what? Wait, Dinner Dog was using Heart Refresh strats? Dinner Dog is checking Spike Breaker using Heart Refresh for invincibility frames. Oh my god, that's so smart. I forgot about that as an option. That's probably the final Vlad. That is most likely final Vlad. Oh shit. It could be a random Vlad, which would be crazy if that was the case, but it's very unlikely. That actually gives Dinner Dog a pretty massive advantage in the long run. Why doesn't he library card? Wait, he has missed. Oh, and he's misting out of the hole. That's huge. Why doesn't he library card? Yeah, Dinner Dog hasn't done Silver Ring yet. The idea is that Dinner Dog will do Silver Ring. Is he gonna do Grand Falloon first? That feels kind of crazy to me, personally. But I mean, hey, you do you. I feel like I would skip Grand Falloon. If I found the last Vlad relic, I would skip Grand Falloon. But I'm also a psycho. 3 relics missing, with all of the flight locations still available, all of the second castle still available, I would skip it. I think skipping Grand Falloon in that scenario is fine. Very interesting. Gothchild just got Bat. Meanwhile, Fire found Power of Mist and Power of Wolf, it seems like, at the Alrox locations. Fire did Alrox and Sword Card, if I had to guess, and then Library Carded out. Also, if the last Vlad relic is at Spike Breaker, that also means that the gold ring that that Dinner Dog got is likely not important or just leads to like Echo of Bat, which would be very unfortunate. Very unfortunate indeed. How are Arturo and Beans doing? They're doing great. They're cute little kitties that are living their best lives. Yeah, it could be Echo at Holy Glasses. That is a possibility. Yeah, the routing at this point, it is kind of just wherever you want to go. Once you find Bat at this juncture, you can kind of just do whatever. It also looks like Fire doesn't have a mana prism. Very interesting. Not everybody had enough money for a mana prism, it seemed. Dinner Dog, still no Bat. Meanwhile, Eldritch has Bat, Hornet has Bat, Swarm has Bat, Godchild has Bat. So Dinner Dog being a little more thorough means that he's going to not have Bat as soon as everyone else, which could be a detriment. Library card from Godchild. Really? At this juncture? Opting not to go to the second castle. Instead, opting to backtrack for entrance and Alchemy Lab, I guess? Mana Prisms. Mana Prisms are pretty cheap. The bone is at Power of Mist location. Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, we're seeing it on Swarm's stream right there. Rib of Vlad. So far, 4 known Vlad relics. We have 4 known Vlad relics with our knowledge. We have Eye of Vlad, which was in Outer Wall. Ring of Vlad, which was... No, Ring of Vlad was in Outer Wall. Eye of Vlad was here, bottom left, bottom right. Eye of Vlad was in Castle Keep as well. So Tooth of Vlad is at... This is how I would do this seed. I would say everything is bait. No. If you're assuming that the final Vlad is at Spikebreaker, once these people check Spikebreaker, you just do every check. You just do as many checks as fast as possible and hope you find it. I was going to say go straight to the second castle and YOLO, skip everything else, but that might be too ballsy. Yeah. Yeah, Spikebreaker has Tooth. Where's Fire? So Fire is in the catacombs. Hasn't done Spikebreaker yet, but is going there. Doesn't have the Eye of Vlad and doesn't have the Rib of Vlad. So that means Fire has yet to do Castle Keep. At least the revisit for Castle Keep. Very interesting. I mean, you library card after finding this for sure. You library card and hopefully Fire buys a mana prism, because I think Fire is missing a mana prism. I don't know if they're going to check the shop again, though. It's very unlikely that they do. Yeah, they don't. So no mana prism. Meanwhile... Oh my god, Godchild I think is going to be the first player with 4 Vlad relics. Because Godchild's going down. He knows. He knows that if you got the Soul of Bat and you have the means to check Spikebreaker, you go do that shit. Spikebreaker is... That shit's some high complexity. It has a high likelihood of being the final Vlad. Swarm has 4. Oh shit, I wasn't looking. Swarm has 4. I lied. Meanwhile, also, Dinner Dog has basically checked most everything that wasn't flight locked and is just now getting Bat. Dinner Dog is actually kind of far behind. Wow. This is a close race. We got Swarm with 4 relics. We got Godchild with 4 relics. Nobody knows where Heart of Vlad is. It's probably just flight locked somewhere randomly or just in the second castle. Those are the 2 locations that makes the most sense to me. Unless shared complexity. Now hear me out. Shared complexity is this weird thing where you could have multiple high complexity locations if they are separated on different branches of the complexity chain. It's so long as they are both high enough complexity. Essentially, Merman statue is a consideration leading into Holy Symbol. It's unlikely that glasses is also max complexity. I don't know. What does Fire do? Fire is in Castle Keep with 4 Vlad relics. If the last Vlad relic is in the second castle and you just go, you're finishing the seed in like 45 minutes. Maybe you save split? The entirety of the second castle, maybe? Fire is saving. It's also possible that you check the entirety of the first castle and then reset back to this position. That's another option. But Fire said, don't care. We're going second castle. First player with 4 relics and entering the second castle, it seems. Unless that's actually Swarm right now. Swarm? No, actually, Swarm beat you to it. Just kidding. Get owned. Swarm is 10 steps ahead of you, already in the second castle with 4 Vlad relics. And I think also has a Mana Prism, right? Now, the real question is, left side or right side? With library cards? I think you go right side. I think you go right side. You have library cards. You have a transformation. You also have Jewel of Open. If you have infinite mana, that also helps. So I think we're going to see a right side from most players. Left side would be an insane gamble. Because if Creature has the final Vlad, that's just insta-win. Oh, shit! It's just a Darkwing Bat! Oh my god. Everybody who goes early second castle just gets a free W! Swarm is so far ahead, but Fire won't be that far behind. Anybody who goes early second with all 4 Vlad relics is in for a huge... Just skipping everything. Yeah, this could be Swarm W. I think Swarm has everything, right? He has Mana Prisms. He has Throwables. Godchild also entering the second castle early. Wow. That's insane. And also, at the end of the day, we also have no freaking clue what Jupiter is doing. Jupiter could also just be on Drac fight right now. Jupiter might have just skipped everything and said, fuck it, I'm going to Dracula right now. It's very possible. I cannot believe this shit. This is a wild race. This has got to be a safe logic record. I mean, all 5 Vlad relics in the second castle under 40 minutes with Soul of Bat and Duplicator. You're pretty happy about that. You're pretty happy about that for sure. This is also just the any percent setup. Like Swarm practices any percent. Swarm is like a top 6 time, top 5 time in any percent. This is the any percent setup, basically, with Leapstone. He's not used to PlayStation lag, though. He does play on Xbox. That PlayStation lag might actually kill him. Meanwhile, Fire is molded in the PlayStation lag, plays exclusively on PlayStation, if I remember correctly. I don't think Fire has an Xbox. Could possibly catch up. They're basically only like 2 rooms apart. Hold on, I'm doing this for me. Because I think it would be funny. Those are the 2 that I think are most likely to win. So I'm going to get them together right here. Yeah, Swarm is like an entire room ahead. Oh, it's because Fire had to stop to refill MP. Fire didn't have the infinite mana. That was the main difference. Yeah, stopping to refill MP again. And I think Swarm is taking this. Just missing out on the infinite mana. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Meanwhile, while that's finishing up, yeah, Godchild is also on his way. Anybody else with 5 Vlads? Ooh, MT is in the second castle, missing the final Vlad relic at, yeah, MT's not going to find that unless he goes back to the first castle. That's really unfortunate. Matthews will also be finding all the Vlad relics. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Meanwhile, we have our end here Jupiter also has yet to finish. Jupiter could snipe first place any second now. It's also possible. I'm keeping my eye on the race page. We could have ourselves a first place snipe. You got to menu fast. You got to menu fast. Looks like it's a cross shuriken and a Chris Grim. Barely kills Shaft before he leaves. It's not like insane damage. Should be a one cycle though. Should be a one cycle. Using the strength potion. Strength potion solo Chrysogram. I don't know if strength potion solo Chrysogram's enough from fire to one cycle. Maybe it is. I didn't see the stats on it, but I think this is, unless there's a snipe soon, Swarm has got this, I think. Should be very soon. There it is. Swarm takes first place, 40 minutes, 50 seconds. Huge finish, followed shortly behind by fire. Oh, God, that's loud. Yeah, solo Chrysogram. Is it enough to one cycle? I hope so. We also don't know what's going on with Jupiter, and it is enough to one cycle. And shortly after, only about 20 seconds, 30 seconds behind, Fire finishes as well. Very, very close races. Wow. Very, very close. Meanwhile, Matthias also on his way to finishing the game, and Godchild is about to finish as well. It looks like Godchild should be ahead by a decent margin compared to Matthias. Matthias has the entirety of the Coliseum to go through. And still no clue what's going on with Jupiter. We do not know. What an absolute mental seed. This was insane. I couldn't cook up anything wilder than this. Nice vial stack, dude. Godchild literally using glitches, cheating, vial stacking. Now, vial stacking is allowed for the tournament. It's allowed. I'm losing my voice because of all the yelling I've been doing today. These have been some hype tournament races. And these are just the first ones. We still got Guarded OG. We still got Lycanthrope. We still got Warlock. And we still got Nimble. We still have 4 presets left, 8 total races after today. Crazy race. Like the polar opposite compared to the last seed. Dude, what is going... Godchild's stream cannot handle what's going on. Is vial stacking enough to one cycle? I feel like just use cross shuriken at this point, brother. Just use cross shuriken. No shot he doesn't one cycle. If he doesn't one cycle, no. What if Jupiter snipes? We don't know what's going on with Jupiter. Oh man, if Jupiter snipes this because of a failed one cycle because of going for vial stacks. Okay. Godchild finishes. No snipe from Jupiter. 3rd place for Godchild. GG's. Oh my God. I would have been salty for him. Dang. Dang, dang, dang. Poor Dinner Dog. Dinner Dog doing the most and getting the least. I think Dinner Dog has full cleared the first castle at this point and is now finally going to the second castle, which is just brutal. Genuinely quite brutal. MT, I think, just full cleared the second castle or most of it and is now backtracking for the relic missing in the first castle, which is at Spikebreaker. Matthias also vial stacking. I'm going to say it. If you have a duplicator, vial stacking's not that good. Am I wrong? We're seeing it here. It's kind of failing to do as much damage as just throwing cross shurikens. Where was Dupe? Oh, I didn't realize you didn't have the duplicator. Yeah, duplicator was the switch that opened the shortcut between Coliseum and Chapel. I thought Godchild was just vial stacking for fun. I didn't realize... no, if you don't have a duplicator and you have access to vial stacking, it's a decent amount of damage. Shield potion? No shot! Matthias popping a shield potion? Matthias, again, is the next person up to possibly finish, but it has literally 2 HP. Literally 2 HP. Meanwhile, we don't know what's going on with Jupiter. Matthias is refusing to heal. You have a duplicator. Surely you have a potion somewhere. Doesn't matter. Oh my god, Matthias finishes. No snipe from Jupiter. Again, we have no clue where he's at. Matthias makes top 4, 4th place. Congratulations. If I had to guess, who's up next? Oh, it's Dinner Dog. Wow. Dinner Dog. More potential. This just begs the question. My guess is Dinner Dog and Jupiter both full cleared first castle before going to second castle. That's my guess for this to be the case, that they haven't finished yet. Because they're both amazing players. It just means that they kind of guessed wrong on not like a true, it's kind of a true 50-50 when you have glasses in flight and 4 Vlad relics. It's like, do you go second castle or do you finish the first castle? It's kind of a 50-50 at that point because it's all random, right? I think it's also hard to go for what feels like a gamble in a large race because you don't want to get blown out for skipping an important relic or just picking the wrong path. So you want to do what's considered safe so you don't get blown out. But the people who have been risking it so far have been rewarded the most. In the race before this, we saw left side gambles pay off. And in this race, we're seeing early second castle gamble paying off. Because it could have easily been that the last Vlad relic was still in the first castle. It truly was a gamble in the purest sense of what was possible. Leaving both keep relics for last. I mean, that's kind of standard. Well, not. It's a route. It's a route that makes sense. I don't think Dinner Dog picked a route that was necessarily bad. It was just unfortunate. That's how I would describe his route, as unfortunate. A few changes and he would have been just fine. It's also kind of tight between Dinner Dog and Eldritch here. I think Dinner Dog should get this so long as he doesn't make any large mistakes. Meanwhile, Eldritch isn't that far behind. And everybody on this side is still in the first castle looking for Vlad relics. Yep. Rough. Yeah, MT is backtracking the entire first castle. I think MT is going to end up full clearing both castles, looking for the Tooth of Vlad. Very unfortunate. Again, Jupiter still hasn't finished. We have no clue what's going on with him. We're waiting with masturbated breath. Masterfully baited breath is, I think, what I was trying to say. We're waiting with bated breath is what I was trying to say. Sorry, I said it weird. Everybody's vial stacking. They're showing off the new hotness. Again, Jupiter still hasn't finished. Could this be Dinner Dog with the steal? Cracking top 5. These seeds have been polar opposites too. I'm shocked at how this turned out. Okay, Dinner Dog gets mixed. 90 HP. He can only take one more hit. I'm also a firm believer that vial stacking sucks, but there it is. Dinner Dog finishes. No Jupiter finish yet. Now the question is, does Eldritch finish before Jupiter? This is getting ridiculous. Oh, I guess it doesn't matter. Sounds like it was insane. Dude, the first race was brutal, man. The first race was brutal. I think you dodged a bullet fire. And there's Eldritch with the finish, and still no Jupiter finish. Still no Jupiter. He hasn't forfeited, but wow. That's crazy. Are we sure Jupiter's racing? Yeah, maybe he forgot. Dude, that's wild. So as of right now, the last race, Jupiter got 1, 2, 3, fourth place. And in this race, he's not even cracking the top 7? Jupiter playing Yu-Gi-Oh! He's grinding out the final 6. He's grinding for an MBD. That Meteor Black Dragon's not going to farm itself. Fun seed, GG's. Dude, this seed was crazy. GG's Dinner Dog. Oh my goodness. One of the seeds of all time, for sure. It looks like Hornet should be next up to finish. MT, unfortunately, I think full cleared like both castles, which is really rough. Just didn't check Spike Breaker at the right time. Crazy Four Blades also seems to be on the path to finish. Renan in the second castle, missing Tooth of Vlad, though. I mean, all of these players getting sub-hour times in a safe logic seed is quite crazy. Quite crazy. Dude, a 40-minute safe seed from Swarm is insane. That was wild. Yeah, GG saw all the racers. I'm happy all of you guys had fun joining in on the race. Man, that's crazy. No, I think it was just you, Dinner Dog. I think as far as all the fights or all of the perspectives we were able to watch, I think we only saw you do it, which was crazy. You're a mad lad for doing it. Still no Jupiter finish. Dude, what happened? I really, really wish Jupiter was streaming these races because I just want to know. I'm so curious. I mean, he is the reigning champ of my tournament series. He won the last one last year. And for him to be in a race where he's not in the top 8 is kind of crazy. Especially, I just want to know what route he took. Because this is safe logic, right? It happens, right? I'm not saying he's washed. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm not even saying he necessarily took a bad route. It more so has to do with the fact that safe logic can be brutal. And Hornet finishes again before Jupiter. Wow, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th place for Hornet. This is Jupiter's last chance to make it into the top 8. Actually, no matter what, everybody else here is only walking away with 1 point, right? Yeah, everybody's walking away with 8th is the lowest possible. Yeah, 8th and forfeit is all the same. So Jupiter essentially squeaking by with everybody here basically getting last place. As far as point total goes, that's honestly unexpected. I didn't realize how stacked these races were going to be. I probably should have spread out the points a little bit more, to be honest. It's just the inverse of your placement. So first place gets 8 points, second place gets 7 points, third place gets 6, and so on. So it's an inverse of the top 8. It was meant to be that like each placement doesn't give you like a severe advantage, because last year I think we did it based off of like a somewhat arbitrary scale, and it made it so winning a race was just like so much better than getting second, which doesn't feel fair in races this large. Yeah, 9 minus your current position, yeah, or your placement. With 1 being the minimum, yeah. Wow, so that is crazy that like everybody else here, even somebody finishing a Safe Logic seed, MT finishing this Safe Logic seed in under an hour is still not enough to not basically get last place. That just goes to show that the competition here is stark. It's crazy. This was race number 2 for the tournament, yes. So both Safe Logic seeds are out of play, yes. Yeah, everybody here on this page is getting 1 point, along with Jupiter. And there's MT finishing before Jupiter. Jupiter not making it into the top 8, technically. Wow. What happened? Jupiter, what happened? What happened? To be fair, also, it doesn't necessarily hurt Jupiter, because Jupiter got 4th place in the other race, and the way that it works is it takes your best placements amongst a category. So we've already had 2, to explain a little bit further, we've already had 2 Safe Logic seeds today. So earlier today, we had this race where Jupiter got 4th. So Jupiter is getting 5 points because that was his best placement. Swarm is getting 8 points because that was his best placement. Fire is getting 7 points because that was his best placement. Scrimps is also getting 8 points. So right now, Scrimps and Swarm are tied with 8 points. I'll update the totals actually on stream right now. All that fun stuff. But I'll do that not on the YouTube video. I'll explain it more later. If you're curious about how all this works out, you should join the live stream, twitch.tv/DragonBlitz. Join the Patreon to help support the tournament prize pool, and subscribe to the YouTube. All right, see you later, YouTube. Have a good one. Bye-bye. I'm going to keep streaming, though. See you later. Bye-bye.